Chelsea too strong for Charlton in FA Cup third round win. Chelsea moved safely into the fourth round of the FA Cup with a convincing 5-1 win against Charlton Athletic at the Valley on Saturday night. While Charlton had their moments and gave the home fans something to shout about, the quality gap between the two teams was clear as Chelsea eventually pulled away and took full control of the game. The FA Cup third round is always special because it brings clubs from different levels together, and this match was a big occasion for Charlton. Playing a Premier League side at home doesn't happen often, and the atmosphere inside the Valley reflected that. For Chelsea, it was about avoiding a potential upset and showing professionalism, even with a rotated squad. Early control from Chelsea. From a first whistle, Chelsea were on the front foot. They dominated possession, moved the ball quickly, and kept Charlton pinned back in their own half for long spells. Charlton tried to stay compact and hit Chelsea on the break, but it was difficult to get out when Chelsea kept recycling the ball and pressing high. Despite all that control, Chelsea found it hard to break through at first. Charlton defended bravely and threw bodies in front of shots, while their goalkeeper stayed alert. Still, it felt like a goal was coming. Just before halftime, Chelsea finally made the pressure count. A well-worked move ended with Jorel Hato finishing confidently to give Chelsea a 1-0 lead. It was a tough moment for Charlton, who had worked hard to stay level for most of the half, but Chelsea deserved to be ahead at the break. Charlton's moment of hope. The second half started with more energy from the home side. Charlton pushed higher up the pitch and played with more belief, encouraged by the crowd. That positivity paid off in the 57th minute when Miles Leoburn reacted quickest in the box and smashed the ball home from close range. The Valley erupted. For a few minutes, it felt like the cup magic might be alive. Charlton were level. Chelsea looked slightly shaken, and the home fans dared to dream of an upset. Chelsea killed the game. Any hope of a comeback didn't last long. Chelsea responded exactly like a top team should. From a set piece soon after Charlton's goal, Tosin Adarabioyo rose highest and headed Chelsea back in front. That goal knocked the wind out of Charlton, and from that point on, Chelsea were in full control again. The third goal arrived when Mark Guiu finished calmly after another neat attacking move, making it 3-1 and effectively ending the contest. As Charlton tired, the spaces opened up. Chelsea took full advantage. Substitute Pedro Neto added a fourth with a powerful strike late on. In stoppage time, Enzo Fernandez stepped up to score from the penalty spot, rounding off a dominant 5-1 victory. What the match showed. Chelsea's goals came from different players and different situations, which will please their coaching staff. Even with changes to the lineup, they looked organized, confident on the ball, and dangerous going forward. Their passing and movement were far too much for Charlton to deal with over 90 minutes. For Charlton, the result was harsh but understandable. They showed heart, especially in the second half, and scoring against Premier League opposition is something to be proud of. Leoburn's goal will be remembered by the fans, and the atmosphere on the night showed how much these big games mean to the club. However, the defensive gaps and lack of possession highlighted the level Charlton still need to reach. Once Chelsea stepped up a gear, the difference in quality was obvious. Crowd, atmosphere, and cup feeling. One thing that stood out all night was the atmosphere inside the Valley. Charlton fans turned up in big numbers and made plenty of noise, especially after the equaliser. Nights like this remind everyone why the FA Cup still matters. Smaller clubs don't often get the chance to host top Premier League teams, and for many supporters, this was a match they'll remember for a long time regardless of the result. Every tackle, block, and forward run from Charlton was cheered loudly, while Chelsea were met with whistles whenever they slowed the game down. Even as the scoreline got away from the home side, the crowd stayed involved and supportive, showing real pride in their team's effort. Chelsea's squad depth makes the difference. This match also highlighted just how strong Chelsea's squad depth is. Several players who aren't regular starters were able to step in without the team losing control or structure. That ability to rotate players while still keeping a high level is crucial in competitions like the FA Cup, where fixtures can quickly pile up. Chelsea didn't rush the game or panic after conceding. Instead, they stayed calm, trusted their passing, and waited for openings. Once Charlton started to tire, Chelsea punished them efficiently. It wasn't flashy for the sake of it. It was controlled, patient football that got the job done. Charlton's positives despite the scoreline. While conceding 5 goals is never easy to accept, Charlton can still take positives from the performance. They didn't sit back for the entire match. They tried to play when possible, and they showed courage going forward in the second half. Against a team full of internationals, that takes confidence. Lee Byrne's goal was a huge moment, not just for him, but for the club. For a brief spell, Charlton matched Chelsea in intensity, and that period will give them belief heading back into league action. Matches like this can help younger players learn quickly about decision-making, positioning, and the pace required at the top level. What happens next? Chelsea now move on with momentum and will look at the FA Cup as a real opportunity. With their quality and depth, they'll feel confident no matter who they draw next. Performances like this suggest they can balance domestic competitions without losing focus. Charlton, meanwhile, returned to their main priority, league form. The result may sting, but the experience gained could prove valuable later in the season. The focus now will be on consistency, tightening up defensively, and using the confidence from scoring against elite opposition. Conclusion. In the end, Chelsea's 5-1 win was comfortable and deserved. They avoided any real FA Cup drama, showed their strength and depth, and moved smoothly into the 4th round. It was the kind of professional performance top teams need in this competition. Patient when required, ruthless when chances appeared. For Charlton, the night was about experience rather than progression. They gave their fans a special moment with the equaliser and competed bravely, but Chelsea were simply too strong. As attention turns back to league football, Charlton can take pride in their effort, while Chelsea continue their FA Cup journey with confidence and momentum.